Driving in the hybrid mode is actually going to make this feel a little bit like a stronger engine. It is fundamentally just... What's up folks, Ethan here at Hunt Chrysler in Franklin, Kentucky, and today we're going to take a look at the 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. What that is that's actually a hybrid Jeep Wrangler, and so it's going to give a few different options to let this Jeep Wrangler have about 21 miles of range that's purely electric. So let's take a look inside and see what this thing is all about. So essentially what this is a 2.0 four-cylinder engine that has a hybrid engine attached to it. And that is actually going to be a plug-in hybrid here. So when you open this up, you're going to have access to actually plug in your vehicle and charge it up. Jeep is actually saying that this will take roughly 2 hours on a 240 volt charger to fully charge the vehicle back up. That's going to be roughly 6.5 to 7 hours on the 110 volt or 120 volt charger that comes with the vehicle. That's going to give this 375 horsepower, and that's going to get roughly 470 foot-pounds of torque. Now actually that's going to be Jeep's strongest engine if you're not including the big beefy 392 that's going to be coming out here soon. This is going to equate to some pretty impressive things like 49 miles per gallon equivalent with the electric and gas combined, as well as it's going to give you about 21 miles on electric driving only. So this is actually a pretty good option for some off-roaders that want a little bit better fuel economy and still kind of having that option for extra power and torque when you really need it. So it's about 75 degrees here in Kentucky, and so we've got the top off of this Wrangler. What I wanted to show you back here is the battery that is actually underneath this rear seat. So this is the 17 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery underneath the rear seat of this Wrangler. This is what's going to supply all of the power for those electric motors that are going to allow you to drive in a hybrid engine. Let's take a look at the drive modes so that you can see the different options that you have for driving this Wrangler. So obviously when you start up this hybrid engine, you're going to notice there's no sound. That's kind of interesting to get used to here in a Wrangler, especially because you've got different engine options over the years, and having a hybrid option is really going to kind of change the game for what this Wrangler can do. So working from the left to the right, we'll show you some of the different things that this particular Wrangler has for the hybrid options. When you start it up initially, there is the hybrid option over here to the left. So what that hybrid driving mode is really going to decide is when to switch from electric to gas engine driving, and it'll kind of do those things intelligently based on the amount of power you're requesting from the engine with the accelerator, the amount of power that you're pulling with either your AC or anything like that, kind of like a standard hybrid. Also on the drive modes, you have an all-electric mode, and that does exactly how it describes. It's going to make this vehicle strictly electric. Now you do see up here at the top that you've got your charge percentage as well as your mile range above your gas range, and so that'll give you kind of an idea on how far you can actually go in that all-electric mode, as well as just in general with hybrid options. It'll tell you kind of how far you can drive. The final drive mode on this is what they're calling the e-save mode, and that's essentially going to be just the gas engine only. It's going to turn this Jeep Wrangler into a standard Jeep Wrangler, and that'll allow you to save your battery, and I think that that will really come into play once you're driving more strictly highway or long distances. You're not going to use nearly as much of that battery as you would keeping it in standard hybrid mode, and so that's a good option to have so that you can save that battery for the times that you're really going to need it. Over here on the right, they do have what they're calling a max regeneration mode, and what that's simply going to do is you can turn it on here. That will kind of turn the regenerative braking on a little bit stronger inside of this vehicle. You'll notice that more on the accelerator because you'll get a little bit more response as the friction turns on from those regenerative brakes. You're going to feel the car slow down a little bit more than if you were just coasting regularly, and that's just the regenerative brakes kicking on and actually kind of charging the battery as you go. That's going to be in this max regeneration mode. Up here in the cluster, you do kind of see the things that will tell you what you're kind of driving in. It does have the notification to tell you whether or not your max regeneration is on or off. It will tell you if you are in hybrid mode or electric mode or e-save mode. Tells you each option, you know, it saves fuel for later use or it saves battery for later use. That will guide you based on whatever kind of driving you wish to do at any given time. Off to the right, you do have your range, and it's going to tell you at the top your electric range and your gas range down at the bottom, as well as you'll kind of see your fuel tank gauge that you normally see, and then all the way over to the right you see your charge percentage based on the regenerative braking as you are going. All the way to the right you're going to see the option on how much electric power you're giving it, as well as if it's charging. As you turn off the car, one thing to note is that it tells you your estimated time to 100% battery. And so, for example, if I were to use a 120 volt charger, it's going to tell me 6 hours and 49 minutes. Or if I use a 240 volt charger, it's going to give me roughly 59 minutes to 100% charge. And I think that's really useful to tell you exactly how long you're going to need to get back to that 100% charge battery. So that's the gist of the 4xe system on the Jeep Wrangler. We do kind of notice that's a little bit more powerful than a standard Wrangler. Just because of that extra power from the electric motor, it kind of kicks on a little bit faster, and so it's going to feel a little bit more responsive than a regular Jeep engine. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If we missed anything, please let us know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are making these videos now weekly. Thanks again, folks. We'll catch you later. Have a good one.